Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 95 today. What a gloomy day we're having today. If you are living in Michigan and you're listening to this, it is just an awful time to live in Michigan.
It's the worst time. It is spring. It is finally acting like spring. There's been nonstop rain for, 3 days?
For 3 days, and it's not going to stop for, another week and a half.
Yeah.
I was looking at the weather app, and we're not supposed to have a day that there isn't at least a chance of rain till next Tuesday.
That's unreal. And then probably, I guarantee, next Wednesday it's probably rain.
July 4th is through that.
All week.
It's going to be the worst July 4th ever.
Episode 95. We're 5 episodes away from a hundo.
I know.
And we haven't even started to plan what we're going to do for that episode. It's still 3 weeks.
It depends, because we've been doing a podcast once every week. So that's still over a month away, but still, it's still going to be, I don't know what we're going to do for it. We'll figure something out. But yeah, today is kind of a not a big episode, but a lot has happened since our last episode. And let's just hop right into it, man. As you can see from our merchandise on, the Detroit Pistons have won the 2021 NBA Draft Lottery. This moment goes down as probably a top 5 sports moment in my life so far, I would say, them winning the lottery the other night on Tuesday night, because it was just a feeling that I've never experienced before, ever.
Didn't expect to experience this.
Not at all.
There was no shot I thought we would get the first overall pick. We talked about it earlier in the day. Can't wait for the Pistons to get the 6th overall pick.
Yeah, exactly. And that was more of a joke. I didn't think they would actually fall to 6, but I did not think they were going to get 1. I figured they would either stay at 2, maybe get 3 or 4. But they jump up to get the first pick, the first time in Pistons history that they have jumped up in the lottery. The lottery has been around since 1986. And there's the first time that they have ever moved up in the lottery from where they were supposed to get.
One spot?
Yeah. They only could move up one spot, but yeah, super awesome. The Pistons win the lottery. Cade Cunningham is coming to Detroit. We've been talking about this all week, so it's going to be a lot of repetition for us, but I just cannot wait for this group of guys to play next year for the Pistons. I am so excited for the season next year. Yeah,
usually we try not talk about the sports that we know we're going to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah.
I try to keep it a little down though. We couldn't contain ourselves. All I've been thinking about is this starting 5 that could be possible in Detroit next season and how amazing it's going to be a Pistons fan. We talked about also the new Pistons fans, the people coming in from nowhere.
Oh yeah, everyone's hopping on Pistons bandwagon out of nowhere.
We're not good yet. We're gonna be good, but we're not good yet. So I get it right now.
And it's just super exciting because Cade Cunningham, his trainer, was on Instagram Live after the lottery, and they were all super excited about getting the first pick. And it came out and said that Cade is very excited to play in Detroit after some people were saying that why would he want to go to Detroit? It's everyone's who doesn't live in Michigan's image of Detroit is
awful.
The slums.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the worst, most rundown city ever.
And it's just not that.
The areas outside of Detroit are very nice. Have you ever seen Matthew Stafford's house? It is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it looks futuristic. It looks like it's not even from this time period.
And that's the thing too. The Pistons are in, I think, a good situation for a top rookie to come in, because we're not in a 3 or 4 or 5 year rebuild down the road. We could compete next year. Compete doesn't mean go compete for a championship, but compete for a play-in tournament spot, maybe a playoff spot. And we just I think we have a great young core, and Cade Cunningham can come in and be a top option as well. Jeremy Grant said himself, this team is not 3 or 4 years down the line. This team is next year we're looking to make a huge jump. Same with Cade Cunningham, said his main goal of his rookie year, before the Pistons even won the lottery, is to try to compete for a playoff spot in his rookie year. I think that the Pistons are at least in a somewhat of a spot to do that.
Yeah, it's not unrealistic by any means.
Yeah, exactly.
It's extremely realistic.
This Pistons team they were competitive in damn near every single game this year, and then would just lose at the end, which was fine by me.
That's exactly what we wanted. You give another 15 point per game score in Cade, and much better point guard play with Cade Cunningham. It's going to be pretty unreal, whether he plays the 1 or 2, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters.
No,
you can have him and Killian out there, I think that's the biggest part about the Pistons next year isn't really about how much of an impact Cade makes, like his rookie season. I think it's more of how much the 2020 rookies take a jump because obviously we have 3 of them. I mean, Saban Lee makes 4, but the main 3 are going to be big pieces to our team next year. I think Killian Hayes is probably the most important one. I think we know Sadiq is going to be there. Isaiah Stewart is always going to be a hustler and grab rebounds. Like, it's not like he's just going to lose that skill. Killian Hayes is different because he just was hurt for a while. It's just whether or not he can make a jump and prove to us that he is here long term or not.
Yeah, whether or not he can make it in the league for that. I mean, he can make it, but as a really
as a backup
player,
or a starter, pretty much. Yeah.
Sadiq Bey is obviously he's going to come in, he's going to shoot threes and play defense. That's not going anywhere. Yeah. He's going to do it well. Like you said, Beef Stew, he's going to come in, play great defense, hustle, rebound, be all over the floor. He's not going to lose that. Those guys, I assume, if they don't take a jump, they'll at least stay very similar to what they did last year. It's Killian Hayes that, like you said, everybody's kind of, and that was the comment when that was like the first thing I read was like, what are they going to do about Killian Hayes? We're going to run him at the 2 or the 1. They're both going to start.
They can play together. We have them. What I think is you play them together this year, as long as no one gets hurt. Start them at the 1 and 2 all year, and then you'll decide after this year. All right, is Killian Hayes? Because at this point, no offense to Killian Hayes, I know he was Troy Weaver's first pick as a GM, but Cade Cunningham is definitely a more important piece than Killian right now, as of right now. So you have to decide. Okay, is Killian Hayes the guard that we want to put next to Cade for the next 5 years, or is he going to be a guy who we want to bring off the bench and we have to look to bring in a guy to pair up with Cade? If that's the case, then that's fine. I think Killian Hayes could be a good 6th man, but just depends on what he does this year. And obviously nothing is set in stone. I mean, we don't know 100% sure that Cade Cunningham will be on the Pistons, but I think it's a pretty safe assumption. He's only working out with the Pistons before the draft. He's not working out with any other team. I think that the Pistons would be stupid to trade the first overall pick, even if you get an offer that is, like, even if you get a crazy offer that you can't say no to, I think you still have to say no. Yeah. Just because this is so good for the city of Detroit, and this has just never happened. The Pistons haven't had the first pick since 1970, I think. And this is just exactly what the Pistons need. I mean, we've been talking all year about how we need to get a top pick, and then we finally do, and now everyone's saying that we could trade the pick away. It's like, make up your minds, bro.
It's awful because I just feel like you're not really, like, if you're a fan of Detroit Pistons, there's only one option here, and that's getting Cade. Like, we're not trading this. I don't get the Cade Cunningham trade talk. And if there was a trade where we trade away the first overall pick, I'd be, like, extremely upset.
Yeah.
Like, I would struggle to be a Pistons fan next year.
I've seen even, like, Orlando giving us both of their first, giving us 5 and 8 and one of their younger players. And it's just like, no, why would you do that? Like, I understand, 5 and 8 is cool, but the Pistons don't really need to add 2 top rookies again like we did last year, how we had 3 rookies. Like, I'm cool with us having our 1 first-round pick, and we have 3 seconds, but not all those guys are going to make the roster probably. Like, this Pistons team already, before even going into free agency, has like 9 or 10 guys that I want to play and be in the rotation.
And most of them are young.
Exactly.
Like, we don't need more young guys.
Like, this is, okay, let's just off the top of my head, next year, guys I want to play. At guard, Killian, Cade, Saban Lee, Frank Jackson. There's 4 guys who I think should be getting rotational minutes at some point.
Yep.
Wing players, Josh Jackson, Sadiq Bey, Hamidou Diallo, if we re-sign him, which that's, I guess, something we can talk about as well. I mean, Jeremy Grant, technically, if you want to count him as a wing.
Wing and,
That's 4 more, so that's 8. And then Big, Plumlee, Stewart.
Saku. I still want to see Saku.
I completely forgot about Saku. That's 11 guys.
That's 11 guys right there.
Okafor is still under contract. They're probably going to play him because they love playing him. And then
you don't sound happy about that.
That's 11 guys, and let's just assume one of the second-round picks will be signed. At least one of them will be. And what if it's somebody decent? I mean, I think we have like the 7th pick in the second round, so
that can be a pretty solid.
It can
player.
be a solid, especially in this draft class. It's very deep. I mean, that could be Luka Garza. Like,
I hope not.
That could be Aaron Henry if he falls. Like.
I was thinking about this on my way here. Where's Dwayne Washington supposed to get drafted?
I don't think he's gonna get drafted.
Really?
Maybe if he does, it'll be late.
I'd be pretty comfortable with the second round pick used on Dwayne Washington.
Maybe. I mean, you can take a risk on a guy who can score the ball really well, but We'll see. I mean,
Anyways.
we're going to do our mocks and stuff.
Yep.
I want to do a mock draft since the lottery is out now pretty soon. Like, we can do it next week because I want to do 2 mocks, kind of how we did with the NFL.
Oh, yep.
An early mock and then one right before draft. Because a lot can change from right now till draft night. Like, there's always risers. The combine is going on right now. There's always guys that are going to perform really well at the combine.
Trades.
Like Joe Wieskamp from Iowa.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
People are raving about him.
42-inch vertical, and he put up like 26 and 10 in their run. And he's like one of the best shooters in this class. Like,
Didn't he have like a 2% body fat?
yeah, 4%, I think.
4?
Yeah, like
That's unreal.
crazy athlete that also can shoot the ball, and he plays clamps. Like,
yeah.
but he's also like a 3-year player, and I don't know. I don't even know if he's gonna get drafted though. Like, I don't remember seeing him in a mock. And
He got hyped up recently.
Yeah.
He got hyped up.
Let's talk about the rest of the lottery. If you did not watch the lottery, let's go through it. First, we'll just go through 1 through 14. So Detroit has the first pick. Houston has the second pick. Cleveland has the third pick. Toronto has the fourth pick. Orlando at 5. OKC at 6. Golden State at 7 via the Minnesota Timberwolves. Orlando at 8 via the Chicago Bulls. Sacramento at 9. New Orleans at 10. Charlotte at 11. San Antonio at 12. Indiana at 13, and Golden State at 14. So Golden State has 2 lottery picks. Orlando has 2 lottery picks.
The big one to me, right off rip, is Toronto at 4.
Yeah.
That is scary.
Toronto is like in easily like contention to be good again next year.
I mean, you're gonna get one of you're not gonna get Mobley, but you could get Jalen Green.
You're gonna get
Kuminga.
Green or Suggs or Kuminga. Yeah.
What?
And those 3, any of those 3 guys fit. I mean,
Perfectly.
Suggs, I think, fits the best just because him and Van Vliet backcourt is so nice
Dirty.
defensively, bro. Like,
Yeah.
they are so nice. Jalen Green does fit that as well, though, because Van
Move Freddie
Vliet
to the 1.
plays clamps, and Jalen Green can come in and get buckets. It's
And
Toronto.
They
lucked
basically,
out.
yeah, 1 year.
1 year where
turnaround.
because Lowry's probably gone, but I don't know. I assume
I would
Lowry's
assume.
gone.
I kind of hope.
I kind of hope so too. I think that because I would like to see Van Vliet. I mean, they paid Van Vliet, and
Yep.
now they have a lottery pick, and it's probably going to be a guard. So, but Toronto really kind of did what Golden State did last year, where all right, your guy. I mean, did they have anyone get hurt early? No,
I think they just kinda
kind of just
sucked.
sucked. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess they kind of just sucked right to start the year, and it was like, all right, let's just suck the whole year.
They just need a whole lot of new pieces.
Yeah.
They just need to kind of redux
and
the
they have
veterans.
a 1-year retool, and they have a top 4 pick to do that. So.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I've always been a slight fan of the Raptors, so I'm cool with them
Is there
jumping
a
up.
shot they trade that pick? I mean, for a really good player.
Yeah, I mean, it depends, but they could because
don't know
they're
any
losing Lowry's $35 million contract, so they're gonna have a little bit of money, even though they have a lot of other guys that are making big money. I mean, they could make a huge trade too. You know, you package that with Siakam or something, like just throwing something out, for
Yeah,
somebody.
something crazy.
Yeah, that's something. I feel like they probably won't. But
I doubt it. I was just thinking.
yeah, it's something that could happen. Cleveland jumps up to 3. That sucks, man. Cleveland jumps up so much. They have had a top 5 pick so many times.
They have so many players on their roster that
I know.
feel like,
I was upset when they jumped up. I really felt bad for like OKC, because I kind of wanted OKC to jump up. I low-key kind of feel bad for Orlando, man. They were tied with us in Houston for the top pick in the draft, best odds for first pick, and they fall out of the top 4 at 5. I guess I don't feel that bad because they have 2 first-round picks. They kept the Chicago pick, but
and again, you are getting
I kind of wanted to see Orlando in the top 3 because like their rookie easily could win Rookie of the Year next year.
Where did the Timberwolves pick go? I know it's to the Warriors.
7.
7? Man. But the thing is, Orlando's, again, going to get one of Kuminga, Green, or Suggs. And then at number 8, they get another stud player.
Yeah, you're going to get at least a guy who's going to come in and play like 25 minutes a night.
If you have a top 5 pick in this year's draft, I don't think there's a whole lot to complain about.
Yeah.
Granted, Orlando was the 3rd worst team in the league.
Who will be the Marvin Bagley of this draft, though? Because 2018 class, the top 5 is all really good, and then there's Bagley. But they're all really hyped up, I mean, I'm not saying there's gonna be one that sucks, but one of these guys that doesn't go first, like Cade is obviously gonna go first, but one of the other guys is gonna be like a star, I feel like, that doesn't go first. So who will be picked before him that's like that is ends up being a bad pick in the future, you know?
And I really don't know because I see Kuminga being the 5th overall pick. I'm not sold on
Probably.
Kuminga.
I've seen that Kuminga isn't even the 5th pick. Jay Billis has Davion Mitchell as his 5th best
I saw that.
prospect.
I saw that. Could you imagine 5? Oh, no, Mobley.
Yeah.
But 4 out
Other
of the
than
top
that,
5
yeah.
being guards. It's a guard-heavy league, so I get it. But I don't really think, I don't see a bust or a player that you regret taking here because Marvin Bagley is a straight-up bust. But it's injuries more than anything.
And that's the thing. Any of these guys in the top 5 like would have gone number 1 last year.
Yep.
So like this draft class is much improved from last year. And they're gonna have a proper offseason to get ready. We're gonna have summer camp. We're gonna have just a full offseason to get ready and everything. So
think about how much summer basketball we're
preseason.
gonna watch with Cade Cunningham, like the summer league.
Oh yeah, if he plays in it though, a lot of the top picks won't play in the summer league. So
I hope he does.
I hope he does. Pistons summer league team actually is going to
nice.
kill everyone,
It's
bro.
gonna be so nice.
Our summer league team is damn near our regular team.
It's just our NBA roster.
Like take off Jeremy Grant and Plumlee, and there's our summer league
Boom.
team.
Yeah, you have guys who got NBA minutes and a lot of them last year playing on that team.
Some more lottery talk though. I kind of wanted Sacramento to jump up a little bit just because they kind of are. I feel bad for De'Aaron Fox. It'd be nice if they end up getting like Mobley or something. But the second pick, Houston, they keep it. They almost fell out of the top, or if they would have fallen out, it would have went to OKC. I don't know what they're going to do with the second pick because they have, Mobley would be nice next to Christian Wood, but do they want to go with a guy like Jalen Green? I don't know.
They're in an odd spot. Houston is just such a weird spot.
I feel like you just go
now.
best available if you're Houston.
And it's Mobley.
Yeah, I would say so, but it just depends on if they want to pair him and Christian Wood together. There is Golden State has a lot of opportunity to make trades with their picks. If they package 7 and 14 and Wiggins, you could probably get a pretty top player. It just depends on what teams are willing to get rid of their top players. Bro, imagine Dame gets traded to Golden State. I didn't even think.
Oh, that would be disgusting.
I was obviously that's super, probably not going to happen, but I didn't
why
even think of Golden
it,
State as, if Dame decides to request a trade. I didn't even think of Golden State. Curry, Dame, Clay, Dre, Wiseman. You might have to throw Wiseman. You have to throw Wiseman in that for sure.
There would be Golden State has crazy trade potential this offseason. You have Wiggins that you can trade. You have 2 first round lottery picks that you can trade for Bradley Beal. If you give me James Wiseman, that's a trade easily. Mm-hmm. I'm taking that trade.
Yeah, we'll see. There's definitely trades that could happen. So that's why I kind of want to do the mock early as we can because then it will be different by the time we do it before the draft. So any other lottery talk that we want to talk about? Or
do you think the Warriors hold on to their pick or do you think they trade them?
I don't know because...
Me either.
I don't know. It's weird because if they do, I feel like they won't have both of them. I feel like maybe they might keep one to pick a guy because at the same time, you do have to realize Curry, Clay, and Draymond are all above 30 years old. They're all they're not out of their prime by any means, but they are older players. So
if you get some young
you do have to
guys.
think about the future a little bit, especially if you flip both these picks and Wiseman because then your future isn't the brightest. But I don't know.
I think you can sacrifice future for rings.
Yeah, I agree.
think you can for one.
Yeah.
I think you can sacrifice your whole future for one ring.
Especially the Warriors who have been dominated the past 5 years, 10 years in the NBA. So, but the Pistons getting the first overall pick, can't believe it. Awesome moment. We went nuts. I was wearing my Reggie Jackson jersey, so that's why I'm wearing it today, and because he's been going off in the playoffs. So.
I won't be happy until I see Cade Cunningham get picked.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I am happy, but I'm still so nervous with all the Twitter talk. Twitter fingers are getting me scared.
Twitter has been just going nuts too, just because of the Pistons. But let's talk about other news before we get into playoff talk. NBA coach hiring is the first thing. Rick Carlisle and the Mavericks parted ways. And he goes and gets a bag from Indiana, a 4-year. I don't even know how much it was.
It was a lot.
It was a lot for a coach.
Mm-hmm. Going back to Indiana.
Yeah, going to the Pacers. I like that for the Pacers. The Pacers are in a really weird situation this offseason where they have a lot of quality players, and they should have been a playoff team, and they're not. Maybe they're a team that looks to make a trade for Ben Simmons. Who knows? Because they have guys like Brogdon, Sabonis, Miles Turner, TJ Warren. That's interesting, but shout out to Indiana for at least because they only had they got rid of Nate McMillan, who's now coaching the team that's in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they fire their new coach after 1 year. So
yeah, and I think this is a good pickup. Just get an offensive-minded coach and who coaches offensive juggernauts the past few years.
Boston Celtics, and obviously Brad Stevens is the new GM for the Celtics. He's no longer the coach.
Did we ever talk about the trade?
That's what I have it on here. Yeah, I guess we could probably do that right now. But Ime Udoka, who was the Bucks assistant last year, and then or 2 years ago technically, and then last year was the Nets assistant. He is going to be the new head coach of the Boston Celtics. And yeah, Brad Stevens took no time making his first move as a GM, trading Kemba Walker to OKC for Al Horford and Moses Brown, and they also throw in the 16th overall pick. What do you think about this trade?
How do you think that makes Kemba feel? Like your head coach instantly, very first opportunity he gets, trades your ass.
Yeah, and it has to attach your first pick or your first round pick to you
to get rid of you.
To get Al Horford, who had to get a first round pick attached to him to get rid of him last year.
The Celtics have just screwed themselves
Think about,
over.
Okay, can we just do a quick, I know we talk
shit
about
on
this
the
a lot,
Celtics.
but can we just do a quick appreciation for Sam Presti and the OKC Thunder? I mean, it is just unreal how he will get first to take on players that are bad value and bad contracts, and then a year later flip them for picks.
Yeah, 4 more picks.
Like he did that with Al Horford. He got a pick with Horford for Danny Green last offseason, and now flips Horford for the 16th pick and Kemba, and he's going to flip Kemba for more picks.
Yeah, he's going to.
Whether it's this offseason or Kemba plays on OKC for a year.
I assume Kemba will get traded this offseason.
I would think so.
Just because I don't think I think Kemba still wants to prove he can win.
Yeah, and it doesn't really fit OKC really at all right now either. Like
Kemba's gonna walk in. He's gonna say, "Hey, can you trade me to Milwaukee?"
Yeah, or to the Lakers.
And he's gonna look at him and say, "Yeah, sure. Well, just give us a first, and you're gone."
Yeah,
like,
it's just crazy how OKC can, like, Chris Paul's another one. You know, they took on picks to take on Chris Paul and then flipped him for multiple more picks.
Like, do they not realize that he is like just abusing the league?
Like, what's he gonna do with, like,
when does he start trading them?
At some point, it's like, all right, like having 8 first-round picks every year, you can't sign all those guys. You can't make 8 different picks. So
I'm curious if teams are ever gonna trade with. They will.
At some point, OKC is gonna make a blockbuster trade to get a star. I think it's as soon as they maybe have a year where they are decent, like where they start to be good again. Shea breaks out. I mean, he already pretty much has. Maybe their 6th pick ends up being really good.
They might wait for like an AD level player to say, "I want out."
Or maybe
and then,
like Karl Anthony Towns.
Record amount of picks attached. Yeah. Here, we'll give you
12 first round picks.
12 first. Turn it down.
Yeah.
Like, try. Please.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they could, you never know. Like, OKC is set up pretty well. I would love to be, like, I'm not complaining to be a Pistons fan right now, but being an OKC fan is definitely not a bad thing right now.
No.
But yeah, Kemba Walker gets flipped to OKC. Al Horford's back in Boston. I don't know what their plan is because Evan Fournier is a free agent. They definitely still need to look to get a point guard, even though, Kemba definitely wasn't the greatest for them last year, but it was a lot because of injury, and I don't think Peyton Pritchard is the future point guard for the Celtics. So they're still going to have to look to get a guy to play point guard for them, whether it's trading Marcus Smart. But they kind of solved their big man issue with Horford and Moses Brown. They still have Robert Williams, too. So they have a few guys that can rotate there. And Tristan Thompson is still on their team. I assume he will get moved. So,
in all honesty, Kemba Walker was hardly even a point guard last year anyways. I mean, Kemba's more of a 2 guard.
He's
than
just
he is
a guard,
1.
yeah.
Yeah, he's much less combo guard, I guess would be the correct term. But he is not. They need a point guard. They need to go out and get a real point guard.
Yeah.
What's the Jason Kidd to the Mavericks?
Yeah, that was the next one. Yeah, Jason Kidd is going to be the new coach of the Dallas Mavericks. I assume Luka's pretty happy about this. Anytime that a former player gets hired that played the same position as their star, I think that the players are usually pretty happy about that, just because not only are they going to coach the whole team, but they played the position. They know a lot more than Stan Van Gundy would know about playing guard, like just a random coach. I was thinking
in the same city.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
won a championship with the Mavericks. So.
And is a tall, oversized point guard.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. There's a lot of similarities between Luka and Jason.
Yeah, exactly.
Kidd.
And then they hire a new GM too. I think he's like from Nike or something. Like he's a Nike
His name's Nico,
guy.
right?
Yeah. Never had an NBA position. And he's like works for Nike, and he now is an NBA GM. So
I think I read that his job was like he recruited college players to sign to Nike.
That makes sense. I
think
get
that was his job, but I'm not
I guess
really
that kind of
sure.
I guess that makes sense. But hopefully that he can make some moves to make Luka happy because apparently Luka wants out. Same with Zion. Apparently Zion wants out.
If you're young and you're on a struggling team after 1 year, just ask to leave.
Yeah, like Cade's gonna do it next year.
Get me out of Detroit.
Back on the Cleveland talk with them having the third pick and everything, it has come out that they are starting to explore Colin Sexton trades. I think that does make sense now since they have the third pick, especially because, I mean, there's a chance that Mobley falls to 3. Like there definitely is a chance that Houston decides to go guard, which it definitely is not unrealistic. But Cleveland, if they were to add another guard, it just doesn't make sense for him,
Sexton, Garland,
and Jalen Green or Jalen Suggs to be all there. And I've heard rumors, that Sexton is kind of unliked in the locker room and everything and gets very like babied by the Cavs coaching staff and everything as like a superstar player when he really like isn't yet. I mean, he definitely is a very good young player, but he's not a superstar or anything yet. I don't know what type of value Colin Sexton has. Like I've seen like a possible Ben Simmons for Sexton trade. Like I don't know. Ben Simmons trade is the most like difficult thing to think of how it would work right now because his value is so like I don't know what it is. Yes,
it's just
exactly.
You have literally like I was thinking about it, and our perfect trade. You brought it up last year was Ben Simmons to the Warriors. That was at the time the perfect trade. I don't know if it is
for the
anymore.
Second or the third? Yeah, the second pick in the draft. Yeah,
I have no idea what the right spot is for Ben Simmons because he can't have the ball in his hands. They literally just foul him. So wherever he's going, you have to just make sure he never touches the ball ever. Because like literally in the playoffs, he's dribbling down the court. He'd be damn near wide open. Somebody sprints at him. He has to pass it as fast as he can. Get it to Seth Curry up the wing and make him make a move. It's Ben Simmons is tough right now. I still want to see him go to the Warriors. Like that's still the perfect destination.
Yeah, but him and Draymond on the court together,
you can't do it.
And then like Wiseman too, and what do you even trade? Like I don't.
Yeah.
It's weird because when the Portland got eliminated and there was just all the Dame trade talks, like Dame to his Philly trade made sense because Simmons is a young player. He's been an All-NBA player, an All-Star, runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. Like is a very good young asset. And there's a couple other pieces you'd obviously have to throw in to make a Dame trade with Ben Simmons. But now it's like, I feel like there's no way Philly can put together a Dame trade. That makes sense.
It would take a lot.
Because is Ben Simmons like, and now it's like Ben Simmons for CJ type talk. That's like the most popular trade talk that's going around right now. I don't know. It's going to be weird because I just don't know what's going to happen with Ben Simmons. But
get ready for another crazy offseason as NBA fans.
I think it's going to be pretty crazy. And speaking of Dame Lillard, it's apparently his team and his camp are getting uneasy with Portland's front office and everything. So I don't know. I mean, it depends. They are about to hire Chauncey Billups as their next head coach. I think they said he's the front runner. It sounds like they're going to hire him as soon as the Clippers season is over because he is a Clippers assistant. So maybe Dame Lillard is a fan of Chauncey Billups. Shout out to Chauncey, though, for getting his first head coaching.
Lots of Detroit
spot.
in the news
yeah,
lately.
For
Lots
real.
of Detroit.
But yeah, we'll get into more like trade talks and stuff as the offseason starts, I guess, because it hasn't even started yet, and there's been a trade, and trade talks are already going on.
Yeah, the meme of when LeBron finds out he can make trades in the playoffs.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was hilarious.
Kuzma's getting traded for sure. Quick baseball news. Wander Franco is the number 1 rated prospect in the MLB right now for the Rays, shortstop. Got called up and in his first game hit a 3-run bomb for them. He's definitely going to be like the next Tatis probably as far as just popularity and everything because he's got that swag to him. He's wearing a big giant chain on him when he's running around the bases. So that's cool for that. And then some more baseball talk with all this
weird week.
the weird week of baseball because this is the first week that Manfred has implemented the ban of the sticky substances, and they're only doing it for 7 days. They just want to test out how it is without them. And they've been really strict about it. Max Scherzer strips down another pitcher just got super pissed that they checked him. Scherzer got checked a couple times. DeGrom got checked. I mean, it's pretty insane how quick the narrative had changed in the MLB.
Yeah, and the whole thing is the umps can check randomly at any time. And the whole thing with Max Scherzer was the reason he was so upset is because it was the other coach.
Yeah, it was Joe Girardi for the Phillies. Yeah,
who was like, check him. He's been touching his hat a lot.
Yeah.
And Max Scherzer was pissed. And then Joe Girardi.
I'd be pissed too, especially if I wasn't cheating.
Yeah.
If I was cheating, obviously, I wouldn't be pissed. But.
After the game, Joe Girardi was like, yeah, I've just never seen Max Scherzer touch his hat so much. And you've never paid attention, dude.
Yeah.
There's no way you're sitting there in the dugout.
You're only doing that because of this new rule. Like,
shut up, bro.
And I think the 7 days is up because I think it started on Monday, so I don't know if they're going to extend it or anything, but it's just weird for MLB to make a change like this mid-season. Obviously, I think most baseball fans can agree that no substances should be used at all, but it's just dumb that MLB let it happen and didn't have any rules for it, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the season, you can't do it anymore. And it's just like, why did they bat an eye to it and just let it happen for so long, and then now it's an issue? So.
They let it get so bad is the thing. It's not just like bad. It's extremely bad. Every pitcher does it.
Yeah,
There's not a pitcher who doesn't. And then now, like you said, the players are just toying with the umps. Very first check of the game, they're ripping off all their clothes, just mocking them, and making a whole mockery out of the whole thing. Because it is so weird, and it just looks weird. Max Scherzer's running his hands through his hair. I don't got hair gel in. Blah. It's so weird because there's so many different options to have sticky
I mean,
stuff.
even just sweat. Sweat is literally like a substance technically. So it's pretty weird. But baseball, Tigers are kind of hot right now. So Matt Manning got called up for them too. So let's get into some playoff talk though. First, do we want to talk about let's get through the losers of the second round because it has been a while since we did a podcast. Kawhi Leonard goes down our last podcast, and the Clippers were down, or it was tied 2-2, and they ended up winning both games. So let's talk about the Utah Jazz. Utah was a 1 seed for the first time since Karl Malone, John Stockton days, and they lose in the second round, fail to make the conference finals. What is next for Utah? They're not in like a weird spot by any means, but I don't know how much better they can get because their team, other than Donovan Mitchell, is an older team. They don't have a lot of money. They just signed Rudy Gobert to this huge, ginormous extension. Defensive Player of the Year, and Terrence Mann drops 40 points on him and
gives him buckets, embarrasses
him, and just makes him like Gobert's not even closing out on him, just letting him shoot. They were just attacking Rudy Gobert at all because the Clippers run this small ball unit, and Ty Lue made the necessary changes to win them this series. But yeah, Rudy Gobert kind of gets exposed, and I don't know if maybe they look at a Gobert trade, but I don't know if they would be able to move Gobert because of how big his contract is. So what's next for the Jazz?
I have absolutely no idea. This is a team where they have two directions: keep the exact same team or retool. They can't blow it up because they're too good to blow it up. And they don't have any assets to do anything huge, make a blockbuster move.
Yeah, because they don't have their pick next year. They have their pick in this year's draft, but
Rudy can't be moved anymore. Like I really don't think it'd be really tough to move him to anywhere other than OKC. And at that point, you're packaging 3 firsts for him and to go to OKC. This team is weird. I do want to talk about Ty Lue for a minute. The balls on a coach to say, you know what? Here's our game plan: attack the decoy. Attack him. We're going to make him look like he's an awful worst defender in the league. That is so ballsy to just go right at him. I love it. And Ty Lue, the meme, he's Greg Popovich. After the first 2 games, he is Pop. He's the best coach in the league.
Yeah, well, you got to get down 2-0 and just to expose, then you change it up.
Yeah, see how they're winning, and then you beat how they win. I have no idea what direction Utah goes in. I wouldn't mind a new head coach just to see something because they've just been kind of stuck in this competitive spot for a long time, which isn't a bad spot.
And this is definitely the best year that they've had, though, and at least the best chance that they had to go far. I mean, they lost in the first round of the playoffs the last 2 or 3 years. Donovan Mitchell's rookie year, they made it to the second round and lost, but they have yet to make it past the second round in Donovan Mitchell's career, and a guy who's already has a bunch of playoff experience as a young player. So I don't know what, because the West, like I always say this, but the West is only going to be better next year. The Lakers are going to make necessary moves to be back. Phoenix is definitely only going to be better. There's several other teams too. The Warriors will be back, but Utah, I don't know what they do. I definitely don't. Yeah, they can't really blow it up. It doesn't really make sense for them to blow it up. I think they have to do some sort of retool, like you said, but they don't have a lot of wiggle room to do that. I think they honestly are probably just going to have to run it back and maybe add a couple pieces here or there. And then next season, if they don't do anything, that's when it's like, all right, it's time to blow it up.
Something's got to happen. Get Donovan Mitchell out of Utah.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't know how much better. They were the 1 seed this year. They had the best record in the NBA this year.
What do you expect them to do?
They didn't make the conference finals. It's just like, what next? Like, it's tough. It would be weird to be a Utah fan right now.
Very.
Brooklyn Nets losing 7 to the Milwaukee Bucks. What a crazy Game 7 this was. Kevin Durant is an inch away from sending the Bucks home on the craziest post fadeaway 3-point shot ever. Drains it, but it was only a 2, so put him in OT. Tries the same exact shot in OT, and it just didn't work that time. People that are shitting on KD for missing that shot, by the way, are just idiots. Yeah, like
get off. Just quit watching basketball.
Why? Like I understand that's not a good shot, but he also is Kevin Durant and is probably the best shot maker ever.
Yeah.
So the Nets definitely will be back next year, like for sure. All their stars are under contract. Blake Griffin is a free agent who had a really good playoffs for them, actually. But Dinwiddie is a guy who maybe they can do a sign and trade with. He is a free agent, though. So the Nets will be back. And I think it is probably good for the NBA that they lost. Even though I was low-key kind of rooting for them, honestly. I really wasn't like all year in playoffs, but in this series, it was just fun to watch KD put the team on his back because Kyrie was hurt. James Harden was back, but he definitely was hurt still.
It was basically KD versus the Bucks.
It was KD, yeah. Joe Harris couldn't make a shot. Jeff Green, it was KD and Jeff Green.
Seattle Supersonics.
Versus the Bucks, yeah. So the Nets will be back next year, though. They definitely are in a lot different of a situation than the Jazz. Like, they don't have to make a lot of moves. Maybe they could go out and try to get another big, but they'll be fine.
Not only did I start rooting for the Nets during this series, I started rooting against the Bucks so hard. I've talked about I can't watch the Bucks. Like, I get so bored and so mad watching them.
They did play really good last night, though. So
yeah, they did.
But the Nets, like, I guess next year, I think the Nets will definitely take a look at their big three and realize. I know that the big three didn't play a lot in the regular season last year, but I think they'll be a lot more cautious. I think that they will realize that only having 2 of these stars on game 44 of the night playing against OKC, like, we're going to win that game with 2 stars. Yep. We don't need to play all 3 because this long season obviously was super bad for injuries for everyone, but the Nets just don't want this to happen again next year with all their stars getting hurt in the playoffs, and it's unfortunate because this Nets team, I think clearly we all know, was the best team in the playoffs. Yeah. Like, out of every team, no matter, they definitely were the favorite to win it all, and they lost due to injury, which is always a shame. I hate that so much.
It's the worst part about basketball, and it's the only bad part about basketball.
Yeah, especially this season. Like, it's just this season. It's not been ruined by any means, but it's just like the injuries. Injuries are going to happen. Like, there's never been a playoffs that there isn't injuries, but this year's just been accelerated. So, and then lastly, the Philadelphia 76ers. They lose in 7 games to the Atlanta Hawks. Wow, I just can't believe that they lost this series. I mean, they went up. Didn't they go up 3-2, or did Atlanta go up 3-2?
I'm not sure.
I think Philly went up. No. Atlanta went up 3-2, and then Philly won Game 6 in Atlanta, and then went back home for Game 7. In a game that I really thought that Philly was going to win. Trae Young didn't even have a good game in Game 7. Shot the ball really poorly, but everyone else stepped up. Gallinari, Kayvon Huerter went off. Joel Embiid, I mean, a lot of slanders going to Ben Simmons, but Joel Embiid, like, in the last 2 games, I think he had 16 turnovers in the last 2 games for Philly, especially a lot of them coming in the fourth quarter. Embiid would have a big first 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, kind of just disappear and not make any shots.
Well, there was that one play in Game 7 where we both, what the hell are you doing? Embiid on that pass, I think he gets a steal and might turn it right back over or something.
But Philly, the process, they've been trusting the process for quite some time now, since about 2012, 2013. And it has not gotten them anywhere. The Atlanta Hawks, when I saw this meme that said the Atlanta Hawks were the 1 seed and made it to the conference finals when Philly started the process and had a whole rebuild and just beat them in 7 games as when Philly was the 1 seed. Like, it's pretty funny.
It is. I mean, the process at this point, and I know
the process is over.
The 76ers just came out and said, we're sticking with Ben Simmons. Stop. Like, you're not going to go anywhere.
I don't think they are. I think they're just saying that just to say that. They say they're going to work on his jump shot and stuff. But
you've been working on his jump shot for 4 years. Yeah. He's averages less points than he ever has in his whole NBA career.
With Daryl Morey as a GM, I think that moves will be made. Moves definitely do need to be made. I don't think Doc Rivers needs to be fired, even though Doc Rivers loses another playoff series that he shouldn't have lost, didn't make the changes that he need to. But it's also his first year in Philly. They were the 1 seed, so I think you do give him another year. But
he might be the new Coach Bud. Might be a regular season coach. But Coach Bud's winning right now. So.
Yeah, but Coach Bud still probably should get fired, even if they
Coach
win
Bud
the
is
finals.
Garbage.
He'll be the first coach that'll win the finals and still get fired.
Wasn't it Dwayne Casey?
No, I say win the finals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's just crazy that Philly lost this series to Atlanta. Like, so should not have lost this series. It shouldn't even have gone 7 games. Yes, Atlanta is surprising surprising everyone and playing like a really good team, but Philly is still a much better team than them offensively and defensively. They're one of the best defenses in the NBA, and they couldn't stop Atlanta's offense. So it's Philly is. Yeah, go ahead.
It's crazy to think that this is one of those series where it is so easy to just point to one player and say, that dude lost them the entire series. And it's Ben Simmons, no question about it. 3 made field goals in the fourth quarter of all 7 games.
Is awful.
You're paying him $35 million a year to make you 3 shots in 7 games.
And then he's guarding Trae Young, who's going off. And like,
giving him buckets.
I will say, in Game 7, Simmons actually was playing pretty good defense on Trae Young. But in all the other games, he really, like, Trae Young was still getting buckets on Simmons no matter what and getting Simmons in foul trouble. And Philly, I mean, Seth Curry was their second best player throughout these playoffs. Tobias Harris, a guy who he definitely had good games in this series, but in Game 6 or 5, had like 4 points. Like, that's awful. Seth Curry was easily their second best player in these playoffs. And you're paying Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons a max to be bodies on the court.
Yeah, to just go out there.
Yeah.
Well, Ben Simmons was less than a body.
Yeah.
I
mean, that play where Simmons got the ball on the block, a pass inside, has a dunk, goes up for the dunk, and then just flips out of it and passes it to Matisse Thybulle, who is not a scorer. That should be the other way. Thybulle should be the one passing it.
And the dunk that it's kind of contested by Trae Young.
But he's 6'10",
and it's Trae Young contesting him.
He's a guy that is known for being athletic and going to the basket.
You got 6 foot 5'11", maybe 5'11" Trae Young trying to guard you, and you pass it, huh?
I would just love to see Ben Simmons on a new team and just try to change things up. Restart. I think that he had a great rookie season. He was the best season of his career was his rookie year probably. And I'm not saying he needs to come out and shoot 5 threes a game next year, but just look to score the ball more. I mean, he averaged 13 points a game this season, I think. 13 points something. And in the playoffs, he probably averaged less than 10 if I had to take a guess. I mean, this is the same Ben Simmons that dropped like 45 on Gobert in the season this year. Like, Simmons can get buckets. He doesn't have to. I don't think he has to develop a jump shot right away. A mid-range, yes.
And a free throw.
Or just, the free throws are bad, too. Yeah, he's awful from the free throw line. So is Giannis. They both suck. But I think if Simmons can just develop a floater or just a pull-up mid-range game and just look to keep attacking the basket, because the hack of Ben was really happening, and it benefited the Hawks a lot. I mean, they wouldn't have won some of these games if they didn't foul Ben Simmons, send him to the line, and he goes 0 for 2, 1 for 2. Like
4 for 15.
Yeah, he would not go 2 for 2. Like, I don't think he did one time ever.
Ben Simmons, I would love to see him in a, whether it's in Philly next year or wherever. I'd like to see him go where there's a true point guard. Not that Ben Simmons isn't, but I want to see him run the 4 a lot more in his career in the next couple of years because I would much rather see him without the ball in his hands, catching lobs, getting balls on fast breaks, and going to dunking. But I don't see him being a point guard for the rest of his career.
Only if the only reason or the only way I think he is a point guard for the rest is if you surround him with straight shooters and a guy who is a lob threat at the big spot, but also can stretch the floor. Like that's why I do like him going to Indiana for like Brogdon and T.J. Warren. I don't know though. Him and Sabonis, I guess I'm not sure how that would work.
Miles Turner would
but
work.
Turner would be nice. LeVert on the wing and McDermott on the wing. Those fit him nice.
You could trade Sabonis for him, in all honesty.
Sabonis and Embiid, though, I don't know how that would work.
It's probably better than Ben Simmons and Embiid.
I don't think they would trade it as Sabonis for Simmons.
You need more.
Like, I don't think Simmons' definitely value is not high enough to trade for Sabonis, I don't think.
Oh, you're saying the Pacers don't take that
No,
trade.
yeah, I don't think in any way. I think Brogdon, yeah, but like...
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I get it. Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, I would turn that trade down.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to give me 2 first-round picks and maybe Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, 76ers, they are going to have an eventful offseason. I'm excited to see what they do. So let's talk about, actually, I want to say, I saw this on TikTok and I wrote it down because I thought it was super funny. Did you know that Trae Young is taller than Aaron Donald? Isn't that just weird to think about?
How tall is Aaron Donald?
6 foot.
What?
Isn't it just weird, though, to want to hear another one?
Aaron Donald's huge in the NFL.
Steve Nash is the same height as Julio Jones. Isn't that weird, bro? It's like, it makes sense, but like, if I'm literally picturing both of them standing next to each other right now, Julio is over-towering Steve Nash.
Like, makes Steve Nash look like a baby.
But like, it's just the NBA, NFL height differences. Like, there's nobody 6'9" in the NFL.
God, dude, that makes me think, like, dude, like we said, LeBron could have played in the NFL. Could you imagine a 6'9"
LeBron would be
dude?
the tallest dude in the NFL, like, ever.
And he'd be nuts.
KD said, did you see what KD said the other day? That if he wasn't playing NBA, what would he do? And he said he would definitely have been a wide receiver in the NFL. Like,
oh my God.
He loves football.
Well, remember when they did wasn't it a 7-on-7? Like during the one NBA lockout, it was like Bron, KD, and a bunch of them dudes were playing football. And they were low-key kind of cold.
KD would have, like, imagine KD lining up you. Just throw it up to him. Like,
just lob it.
Anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny. But let's talk about playoffs. Last night, Milwaukee-Atlanta Game 2 happened. Milwaukee kills Atlanta. They were scoring the ball with absolute ease. Atlanta wasn't playing that bad offensively. Like, they were knocking down shots. Trae Young didn't really have the best game, but Milwaukee was just scoring every single time coming down the court. Giannis was dominating. Drew Holiday had a big game. Drew Holiday's been very consistent on defense throughout these playoffs, but offensively, he's kind of been having not a very good offensive playoffs for sure, but he had a really good game. Middleton he's pretty inconsistent as far as one game he'll have 35 and the next game he'll have 10 and miss 30 shots. But Milwaukee played a really good all-around game, beats Atlanta after Atlanta won Game 1 for them after Trae Young scored almost 50. So what's this series looking like for you?
I think Milwaukee will probably win it in 6 if I had to guess. And if Milwaukee, and the reason I think that is because if Milwaukee doesn't win this, it is going to be awful for Giannis. This is his year to win the NBA Finals. There's no
He's not going to get a much better chance than this.
Like with LeBron last year, it was like, you got to win this year.
Yeah.
Giannis is in the same boat right now. You are playing Trae Young, the 5 seed?
Yeah, 5
seed. You need to beat him. Like you can't
like
lose
Atlanta's
to this
a good
guy.
team for sure, and they could beat Milwaukee. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they beat the 1 seed Sixers, but like, I completely agree with you though. Like, the Bucks, they have to at least make the finals.
Yeah.
They could lose in the finals. I mean, I could easily see the Clippers or the Suns
especially if it's like
beating
a
them.
7-game series.
Yeah, but
that's okay.
The Bucks need to make the finals for Giannis, just to start off his legacy right, because I don't think it ruins his legacy by any means, but it's just like, this is a great opportunity. I mean,
Yeah.
they beat the Nets. Like, the Nets they're going to be back next year, and you're probably not going to beat them next year. Imagine the Nets don't go to the finals next year either. Like,
then
there's no way that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it'd look awful for the legacies of those three.
Yeah, exactly.
Those three's legacies would be tarnished.
But Atlanta did steal a game in Milwaukee, though, so that is very important. That's huge for them. Atlanta is a very good team at home. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Atlanta, I think Milwaukee wins I think they'll probably split these next two. So it'll be 2-2 going into game 5. I think Milwaukee in 6 probably makes the most sense because game 5, I think Milwaukee wins that one. But like we said, Mike Budenholzer is a very bad coach.
He sucks.
And Atlanta exposed the bad coach in the last series too.
Yep.
So John Collins, by the way, had a really good game for Atlanta in game 1 as well. So
Atlanta also is playing from the complete opposite perspective versus like if a Philly was there. Let me describe this. So Atlanta being there, they have nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing. You were like what 20-32 at one point this season.
Yeah, they were not that low because
no, that's almost the end of the season.
Yeah, they were like 10-20 something.
Yeah,
or
they
maybe
were
8-20.
And now you've overperformed, overachieved. You have nothing to lose. You've already done everything you were expected to do and way more.
Mm-hmm.
If Philly was here, they still have something to lose, so both teams might play nervous. There is no reason for Atlanta to be playing nervous. They just need to go out and ball out.
And I don't think they are playing nervous. Yeah,
you saw game 1. It was like Trae Young was in a street ball game. Yeah. Throwing lobs off the backboard, shimmying before he shoots threes.
That lob was so cool off the backboard.
He's playing like he's a kid in a park. And that is also scary. So Atlanta, though I expect them to lose, it would still surprise me, but it wouldn't surprise me extremely. Surprise me if they came out and won a couple more games.
It was like the Philly series. I mean, like I definitely expected Philly to win, but I wouldn't have been shocked if Atlanta won, and they did.
This one I'd be a little more shocked if Atlanta won.
Atlanta is. I saw this this thing, and it's just like about. I mean, it's kind of. I didn't really see it, but I just kind of thought of it. Miami last year, they made it to the finals, and they were kind of expected to be a contender again this year, and obviously they underperformed. I don't think next year we need to go into the season expecting Atlanta to be this championship contender now that they made the conference finals. I mean, they're just on a great run right now. I think this Atlanta team is very similar to the Miami Heat in the bubble last year. They overexceeded expectations, and they made it far in the playoffs, and Atlanta's kind of doing the same thing. So it shouldn't be conference finals or bust again for Atlanta next year. I just kind of want to put that out there because a lot of NBA fans will see, like have Atlanta in the conference finals like they are right now and think, all right, they have to do better next year
they're
now,
young.
or else it's a bust.
Yeah.
And it's not like that.
No.
They're a very young team that, yes, they are good enough to make it again next year, but it's not like a that or bust. We got to blow it up after that.
And not having expectation benefits a lot, I think. We now see that when you're playing with no expectations, it's a huge benefit. Look at Julius Randle during the regular season.
Yeah.
Nobody expected him to be good. Now he gets to the playoffs.
No one expected the Knicks to be good.
He's expected to perform, collapses colossally. So that, I think not having expectations benefits you. So you can expect next year when they have expectations to be good, then they might fall a little worse because it's like, oh, shit. They're playing every game, and every team's like, oh, this team's supposed to be good. They were in the conference finals last year. We got a ball. I don't think they'll be as good next year.
I don't think so either, but we also have the whole offseason ahead of us.
But I do think they'll be like a 5 seed. Like, I don't think they'll move.
And they have a weird spot with John Collins, too. Yeah. John Collins is a guy who wants a max. He's a restricted free agent, so they can match any offer a team gets him, but will they? They have a Kongwu. Gallinari's obviously still there, who's been playing really well for them. But let's talk about Western Conference Finals. Phoenix versus the Clippers. Game 1 of this series. Honestly, all games of these series have been pretty good. Mm-hmm. But game 1, obviously no Kawhi and CP3 for the first 2 games. Phoenix wins game 1 in a close one, but game 2 was really Devin Booker had a triple-double in his 40-point triple-double in game 1, and Phoenix won. Game 2 was such a great game, though. It comes down to the last minute. Paul George gets fouled. They reviewed every single call late in this game, and it was really frustrating, and a call gets overturned. Beverly knocks it out of Booker's hands, and even though Beverly knocked it out, it kind of goes off Booker's hands, so they overturn it and give it to the Clippers, which I think is kind of stupid because Beverly is the one who forced it out. Like, technically it was out on Booker, but I just hate how that gets reviewed, and it takes 20 minutes for them to review.
Well, the last, minute and a half lasted 30 minutes.
Yeah. And it's just like that's too, especially for a casual NBA fan.
Yes.
And it was late. It was on at midnight. Like, no one's watching that.
If you're a casual NBA fan, that's awful for casual
Exactly.
NBA
And it's
fans.
just not entertaining. Like, it ruins the flow of the game. Like, that game was super, like, both teams were going back and forth. Pat Bev has actually been playing pretty good defense throughout this series. He's getting everybody going, and then the reviews happen, and they literally do take 5 minutes at least a piece, and it's just they need to the league needs to fix something about it because I do agree with the replays to get the right call. I think that's great because missed calls and bad calls they do ruin the sport.
I think you gotta limit like each team, like
they're just like every single play that happens late in that game, everyone's doing this. Paul George, Pat Bev, the Suns, Jay Crowder. Like, if a play happens, review it because they can. In the last 2 minutes, any play can get reviewed. They don't need to challenge it.
Three reviews each for the whole game. Maybe two.
Well, they each get a challenge. They get one challenge, but
I think you should get reviews too. If you want to review an out of bounds,
but then they can just do it at any time in the middle of the game, though. So it takes forever.
Well, it's better in the end of the game.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is in the final 2 minutes, though, they can review anything. Before that, nothing gets reviewed unless it's a challenge. So it only happens in the end of the game.
Yeah.
But anyways, the call gets overturned. Clippers get the ball. Paul George is fouled, heads to the line, and misses both free throws. I mean, that is just, of course, Paul George misses both. Like, it's such a meme for him. He was having a really good game, too. That's the worst part. And then the Suns get the ball under the basket, 0.9 on the clock, I think. And you know what's coming. DeAndre Ayton's having a career game. He's been going off all game, had 30-some points. He's the biggest guy on the court. They put Boogie Cousins out there to guard the inbound pass, and he just goes like this. Just not even like, just puts his hands up.
Jay Crowder just throws it around him.
just throws the most absolute perfect pass of all time. DeAndre Ayton slams it. I didn't even know what happened at first when me and Barry Hill were watching. I was literally just like, it looked like Jay Crowder like made it in the hoop, like over the backboard made it. And
I was
like,
thinking that as I was watching. I was like,
what the?
Damn near looked like he just would have made that either way.
And best pass ever. The Clippers are all they're trying to review it. It's like that already. It's like, no. The fans stormed the court and the game wasn't even over yet. That took another 5 minutes. But the Suns win game 2. And after that, it was like maybe the Suns are gonna win this series because Chris Paul was coming back for game 3, but it also is the 0-2 Clippers. So 0-2 Clippers don't lose.
Yeah, 0-2 Clippers are a different breed.
Paul George went off. Reggie Jackson continues to go off, and they
Terrence
won.
Mann.
Yeah, Terrence Mann had a pretty good game for them. And the Clippers won game 3. Game 4 is tonight. I don't think Kawhi's coming back. He was at the game, their last game. It was the first game he's been to since going out with injury. But what are we thinking?
If Pat Bev can put Devin Booker in a box like he did last game, it's a tough series.
He has the last 2 games.
Yeah, he's put Devin Booker literally in a box.
I'm not a Pat Bev fan by any means, but he has been playing very good defense through the last 2 games.
That completely changes the series. Devin Booker's 40-point triple-double was, or 30, not 40.
It was 40 points.
Oh, was it 40? That's unreal. And Pat Bev stepped up and said, I'll take it. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And to put him in a box completely takes the Suns into a whole different level, especially with Chris Paul. He's not 100%. And he probably won't be till the end of the playoffs.
I mean, he's not like hurt or anything.
But like, he's not like, yeah, I guess it was just COVID.
he just didn't play well. I mean, he missed a lot of shots. He mid-range. Chris Paul is money from mid-range, and he really just was missing most of them. And he was taking a lot more threes than he usually does in their last game. I think he was like 1 of 7 or 1 of 8 from 3. So him and Booker just did not play very well in game 3 because the Clippers played good defense. So
what's your prediction for this series?
I think it goes 7. I really do. And I would not be surprised if the Clippers win. I'm going to go with Phoenix in 7.
Yeah, I'm Phoenix in 7.
And I think Phoenix wins it all if they make the finals. I think if the Clippers beat Phoenix, I think Milwaukee beats them. I don't know, though, bro.
Dude, it all depends on Kawhi.
I think Phoenix wins it all. I really do.
No, I
think Phoenix wins it all. It would be so awesome. But Phoenix cannot they have to win this game 4.
Yeah.
I think if the Clippers win this game 4, they
in
might be
trouble.
done for because the Clippers have the momentum 2-2. Home court advantage does not matter to the Clippers after they even the series back up.
No.
So it would be awesome if the Clippers had Kawhi because it would just make this series so much better. But we'll see. Clippers should be up 2-1. I mean, they should not have lost game 2, but
Paul George just
Yeah.
needs to, you know.
prediction for the rest of the if finals prediction, who's winning it all as of right now?
Oh, I've got
How
the
many
Suns.
games?
I've been saying the
Suns
Suns.
over who in what?
Suns over Bucks in 7.
Yeah, I'm going Suns over Bucks in 6, I'd say.
'Kay.
Just so we don't have the same.
I've been saying the Suns are going to win the finals since Nuggets series, since the start of the Nuggets
Yeah.
series. And like, granted, I hopped on the bandwagon. I watched them play well. And I said,
and they're like easily the most fun team though. Like
So
everyone's
much fun.
hopping on that.
Everybody loves
bandwagon.
watching them. And I've had a
Willie
D-Book.
loves the Suns now out of nowhere.
I've had a D-Book shirt for so long. I've had my D-Book jersey, so I might be a bandwagon, but I've also been a fan of Book for a minute. So,
yeah.
so I'm not that bad of a bandwagon.
Let's talk about one last thing before we end the show. Team USA roster has been announced. Let's go through it. Roster is looking like KD, Dame Lillard, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, Kevin Love, Draymond Green, Bam Adebayo, Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Jeremy Grant. Initial reaction.
Obviously, the standout, Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
Love him getting
Clearly
the
is
respect.
going to be the MVP of the Olympics.
I love him getting the respect.
He's out there for recruiting, man. He's about to recruit Zach LaVine to the Pistons, bro. I'm feeling it.
Could you imagine Chicago to Pistons? That's ballsy.
That's how it
Ben
happened.
Gordon did it.
The Warriors, bro. Clay and Draymond recruited KD on Team USA
Yeah.
in 2016. Like,
No,
obviously
this
it's a little different now.
this
but-
team is pretty nice. A couple players I just didn't expect to be on the roster at all. Kevin Love. I don't know what the hell they're. Why
I
is he
think
on
they
the
just like to
roster?
have a veteran guy on there because, like, okay, can you name me the players that have Team USA experience, like Olympics experience, not like the World Cup or whatever? There's
KD,
3 of them.
Draymond, and not Bam. I gotta think.
It's Kevin
Okay,
Love.
Love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
duh.
Kevin, yeah.
Yeah.
KD played it. This is his 3rd Olympics, 2012 and 2016. Kevin Love was in 2012, and then Draymond was in 2016.
And the other guy I'm really surprised about is D-Book. I did not expect him to be on this roster at all. You have not quit playing basketball for like 2 years
same
now, dog.
Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday too.
Like, why y'all
And,
like you
like,
don't have to play.
Middleton and Holiday like are probably gonna go to the finals, right? I
Yeah.
feel like the Bucks definitely are more expected
Likely.
to go to the finals than the Suns.
Yep.
Yeah, like and that's kind of why Chris Paul, he opted out. He was supposed to be on the team too, and he opted out. A lot of guys who top guys that did initially commit ended up opting out. Like James Harden was supposed to be on this team. He opted out. Somebody else did too. There was because apparently the restrictions are going to be very similar to like how the bubble was with the Olympics.
Oh, no.
So as far just because COVID and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So they
I
definitely
can't imagine they want to go through
yeah,
it
exactly.
again.
And so that's why it definitely is a turnoff to be on this team, but also it's Team USA. Like it's
Yeah.
a super great opportunity. I'm just super happy that Jeremy Grant though is on the team.
Yeah,
Like
Dame
that
is on
so
the team,
cool.
right?
Yeah, Dame is still on the
Dame
team.
has never played in the Olympics before. That's crazy. I'd expect him to be on the roster.
Steph Curry's never played in the Olympics. Isn't that
What?
crazy? Yeah, I know, right?
Like, you'd expect him to be all
LeBron
around that.
hasn't played since 2012. Like, it's a lot of guys don't play in the Olympics anymore. I wish like we don't get like these super god
we don't get
squads.
like the redeemed
This team is probably better than like the 2016 team with KD, Draymond, DeRozan. But actually, that team might be better. Jimmy Butler was on that team.
I don't know, Dame, KD,
Boogie,
Bam.
but yeah, Dame, KD, and like this team has a lot of young stars.
Yeah.
I mean, Tatum, Bradley Beal, Booker,
Levine.
Levine.
This team's nice.
Yeah,
I
I think this team is probably better. Like Dame
Yeah.
and KD obviously are like the headliners, but they're not
excited.
nearly as good as like the 2012 team. You
Yeah.
know, like a 2012 team, LeBron, Kobe, D Wade.
That was considered the redeemed team.
yeah,
right?
that was the redeem team. I mean, that
Yeah.
team was nuts. They didn't
Oh,
lose. Yeah,
unreal. They were. That's the
that's the second best team.
Yeah.
Maybe first.
arguably first.
I would love to see that team
Me
versus
too.
Dream Team.
Me
That'd be
too.
but Dream Team is like
It's the most iconic basketball
like
team.
okay. Let's put together the Dream Team right now. If
Right
there
now.
has to be a 12-man roster, in for the
Yep.
Olympics.
Point
right now.
guard, Steph Curry,
Yep, point guard Steph Curry, shooting guard
Harden,
Harden, small forward LeBron, 4 KD, 5. Honestly, you don't even need to run a 5, but
If you're on AD,
you could run. Yeah, you could run AD.
do you think AD is the 5 right now?
I think you put AD out there because he would just dominate. No, I mean, I don't know. The bigs in like the European countries and stuff.
Oh, it's Jokic.
they're pretty
Oh my God. Oh wait, no, he
Yeah,
can't play for
Jokic
Team
can't play
USA.
for Team USA. Yeah, AD probably runs the 5, right?
Yep.
So then off the bench, so that's 5 guys. Let's just think of off the bench guys. Dame, yeah, for sure.
Kyrie.
Dame, Kyrie's Australia. He's not Team USA.
Oh, yep. I think he can play for Team USA.
He was born in Australia though, so like.
But I think he played. Didn't he play for Team USA one year?
Did he?
I think he played.
I think
for
he
Team
did.
USA.
Yeah, I think he did play for Team USA. Actually, yeah, I think he did. So I guess we'll count Kyrie.
Oh man, this.
Okay,
tough
wait. Is
now.
there any guys on this team that would? I mean, like Booker, Beal, Levine, Tatum.
Beal probably makes it.
Beal, like maybe. Yeah, I guess let's count.
Bam makes it.
Does
probably.
Bam make it though? I didn't even think Bam was.
But who
Team
else?
USA.
You need another big. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to throw another big in there, at least one.
It's just hard to just think off the top.
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
is.
trying to think of top players in the NBA. Like, is it Kawhi Leonard? We missed Kawhi.
Kawhi. Paul
Kawhi
George.
is on. Paul George is probably on this
Yeah.
team too. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. Jimmy Butler's probably on this team.
Yep. A lot of forwards.
Yeah, but
NBA's
that's fine.
forward
Wing
heavy.
players are just fine.
Yeah.
You can run like 5 wings.
You could run 3 wings.
And the team you can run. You don't even have to run a center. You could put KD be your big man. Like, I guess we kind of probably named 12 guys there.
Yeah.
But that team would be awesome though.
Oh my! I couldn't imagine watching that team just run over Brazil.
Yeah.
Like,
I just wish Steph Curry would play in the Olympics. Like, it would be
Yeah.
so fun to watch him play.
I'd like to see how he plays with because they play a different style.
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't play like a normal NBA game.
It honestly is
European.
really fast paced
Yeah,
too.
they get up and go.
Like, I don't know a lot of guys that are playing for the other countries. Like Jokic
I think
is
Spain's
not.
gonna have a good team.
Spain, yeah. I mean, they have the Gasols. Rubio, I think, is Spain. But I don't know who else is on
There's
that
another
team.
big Spanish.
Luka is playing for Slovenia, I think
Yep.
is his country.
I'm curious to see what
Giannis,
the
I don't
rest
think
of
is
Slovenia looks
is Giannis
like.
playing for Greece? I don't think
I don't
so.
think so. I don't think he plays.
Australia is going to be good. They're always really
Yep.
good. They won the World Cup. Remember the team that was the USA World Cup team? Was it last year, 2019, I think? And it was like the Boston Celtics plus a couple other guys.
Yeah.
It was like Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba, Marcus Smart. That team sucked. They didn't
They
even
were
win.
awful.
They didn't even get bronze in the World
Yeah,
Cup.
they were awful.
Australia won it all. They got Joe Ingles. Patty Mills is always an Olympics god. He'll go off.
He's nice with it in the Olympics.
Ooh, France would be nice. They got Gobert. They got Evan Fournier, I think, is France.
Who was the center for the Australian team? It's a decent name player.
Bogut. Is Bogut Australia?
Bogut's Australia, but it's
I think it's
played for
Bogut.
the Celtics.
Like, currently plays for the
No,
Celtics?
did.
Is he old? Like, is he out of the NBA?
No, he's a younger guy. Maybe he didn't play for Australia ever.
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
word! He's white dude, short center, 6'10", played for the Celtics. You said he was the best role player in the league 2 years ago.
Oh, man, that really throws me off.
I don't know who.
The only guy I can think of is Vincent Poirier, but he's not.
No, this dude's Australian.
Oh, Aaron Baines.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays for
Yeah.
Australia. Yeah.
There
that's
you
right.
go.
Yep. Yeah, okay, I got it now after that. Yeah, Australia's team is always super nice. So
Yeah, they're
imagine
nice
if they
with it.
had Ben Simmons, dude. Ben Simmons is. What if he plays for him?
Oh my word,
Dante
dude.
Exum is team
Yeah,
Australia.
he plays on their team.
I think so.
At least he did last time.
Yeah.
Last time we were watching.
Canada will probably be decent. I don't think Shea. I think Shea said he's going to rehab his injury, so he won't be playing for him.
The
But
thing is, I don't even remember. Like, I know honestly, I don't remember like Canada having a team. I don't remember France having a team. Like, or
France
any
usually
good.
is pretty good.
Are they?
They're usually solid, but like it's usually Australia and US that are
Yeah.
like the best teams.
And Spain.
But
You can toss in
yeah, Spain too for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much
I think
it.
that wraps it up.
Yeah, we'll be back to do a mock draft probably sometime next week and talk about the rest of the playoffs. We're gonna have Willie on soon to do our NFL episode, but that's on pause because the NBA is too hot right now.
Yep.
So, bye.
Peace.